So, we're talking about A Universal Time again, and I'm not gonna lie, this game might be cooked. So just recently, while I was scrolling around the Roblox page, I managed to see that A Universal Time, even for a brief moment, has dropped sub 1,000 players. Yep. That's right, AUT dropping below 1,000. That's something you rarely ever see. Usually the game hovers around 2,000, 3,000, but after recent events, I can't really say I'm surprised. And yes, I haven't been posting for quite a bit. It's been like, what, nearly 2 weeks since I last posted. I really am sorry about that, guys. Exams have just kind of taken over my life for these last couple of weeks, and I really do need to lock in. It's no brainer that the AUT community dislikes AUT for what it is. AUT has essentially devolved into people spamming hyper armor combo starters and getting 60% or 50% of your HP off. And again, it is even worse in main game, where everybody has these OP-ass traits, like Godly or Spiritual Gold Experience Requiem. But yeah, main game is practically unplayable now due to all the traits and the subspecs. Subspecs in of itself is a decent idea, like what YBA did, but the way they're implemented into AUT is just so horribly made. All they do is just add more combo extenders or combo starters into your kit, and with most stands already having about 10 to 15 moves, which is a lot compared to games of these standards, yeah, it extends the combos even more and just makes the game even less bearable to play. We will get into subspecs and PvP as a whole in a little bit though. Currently though, I just do want to talk about how the game was just fundamentally cooked as soon as traits and leveling were added. Now, traits and leveling itself is inherently not bad. A little grind can't hurt a game. You can do a little something to obtain a spec and it feels pretty rewarding. AUT, on the other hand, uses traits as its main grinding source. Now, traits in of itself is not bad, as I've said before. It's not bad. It's not a bad idea. It could actually be a fun way to get people to keep playing the game. But when you make players grind mindlessly for over hours and hours just to get a simple trait, that actually ruins PvP balancing. Sure, it can feel rewarding, but then when you're fighting against a player who's using, I don't know, like Spiritual Golden Experience Requiem, while you're level 200 with a epic rarity trait, which in these days, except for bypassing, is practically useless against legendary, hex legendaries and mythic traits now, or hex mythic traits, they are practically useless now, and it can just feel like you're just hitting a brick wall and doing no damage to it. Traits, along with main game, can get so unfun nowadays, and along with the fact that PvP is just imbalanced as hell, especially with what, Beowulf and the new specs releasing, like Ashura upon release was just straight nonsense, and I don't even want to talk about Virgil and his combos, but yeah, most of the specs these days are just super imbalanced and just make the game just impossible to play. There's no point in just playing main game, because main game is trait carried. If you're playing against a guy who's using a more annoying trait build than you, then it's just game over. You instantly lose. Going back to the trait and leveling system though, it's horrendously made. Nobody wants to just sit there mindlessly grinding for hours and hours just to get small chance of a stupid trait they might get. Even so then, the game itself just feels like a time waster. It doesn't feel like it's rewarding you for the grind, it just feels like, oh hey, you played my game for about 10 hours, well I guess here's a little reward, now go keep grinding. It just feels like that. It feels like it's just wasting your time. People like me who actually respect their time, I don't even play the game anymore. I really do respect my time. I have exams to study for, and I'm sure lots of you guys have that same feeling as well. The game is just wasting our time to grind for these worthless traits that just take ages and ages to get. Now, if we talk about combat, if we just strip away traits and leveling system as a whole, the core combat itself is actually not bad. The AUT rework was originally designed to be a fast M1 trading simulator, where you throw out M1s, and if you land them, cool, you get some heat bar, which means you can maybe use your moves if you get a parry or a block break. And now it's just devolved into these block break hyper armor combo starters that people throw out, and people just get a massive chunk of HP just because they pressed one button. It's essentially like probably worse than the dark era of YBA, where nearly everything is a combo starter or a combo extender, and everything can link into each other, dealing massive amount of damage. You press one button, and there we go. That's a good chunk of your HP gone. That's essentially what AUT's combat has devolved into, and I'm sorry, but it's just not fun to play anymore. I cannot stand this game's combat. It's people just pressing buttons, getting free combos, and then just chunking off a large amount of your HP just by pressing a singular button. That's literally what this game has turned into. So for example, I just want to bring up, let's say, Zeno. Zeno has about 1 billion different moves, with stand on and stand off moves, which can all link into each other perfectly. It just doesn't make sense how Zeno can have M1s as combo starters, which just makes them even more broken, because AUT at its core is a M1 trading game, but when you have these specs which can just use hyper armor combo starters, nobody uses their M1s anymore, and the game fundamentally has changed. And now with the addition of Subspecs, oh god, they just made main game even more horrendous to play. So what Subspecs are is that they add a couple moves to your kit, which can combo extend, combo start, or just deal raw damage depending on what it is. Like for example, A-Train. I feel like A-Train, the Subspec itself is fine, but when you have stuff like Mirage Blade, which can just, oh my gosh. Now, Mirage Blade is a cool idea, but the fact that it extends combos and does raw damage and just has everything, even poke damage as well, it's just so obnoxiously annoying. You see, stands or specs in AUT were already fine by themselves. They had their own combos, and unlike YBA, who only has like, what, 4 moves a stand in YBA, AUT specs can actually hold up by themselves. But when you add even more combo extending moves or even more combo starting moves, it just makes it a button mashing simulator, which takes away from what the original AUT game was. Original AUT rework was just a fast-paced M1 trading simulator, as I've said before, but most combos only lasted about 2 to 3 moves, if you include the World of Heaven's time stop or any other time stop. AUT's rework at that time when it just released only consisted about 2 to 3 moves worth of combos. That means that it was fast-paced, it didn't take away the user's control for too much, combos lasted a really short time, which meant that you could get like 70 to 80 damage at most in about 2 to 3 moves, and then it's back to being neutral. But nowadays, it's turned into a button mashing simulator where people don't even use their M1s anymore. In main game especially, you chunk up like 300 to 400 damage combos, depending on what spec and what trait you're using. And now that also gets me on the topic of new player progression and new player accessibility. And this is a really big problem. Games like AUT always have suffered a little bit of a problem where new players just kind of joined the game and didn't really know what to do. But with AUT, it's actually far worse than any other game. Due to AUT's already unbalanced trait system and the leveling system as well, if a new player joins, they're gonna have no idea what to do. And just the fact that how the game's grind is already horrendous from the start, with the Blox Fruit-like progression and just killing the same NPCs over and over again, new players will not like AUT. They're gonna see the horrendous grind, and they're gonna say, oh my gosh, it's not worth my time, I'm out. It's just, this is a massive problem to the game's lowering player count, as older players just get bored of the entire grind, they get bored of the unbalanced combat, the unfun combat now, and when new players try the game, they also don't like it. In their eyes, and rightfully so, it's just a grinding game. It's just they're designed to waste your time to get these stupid ass traits that take ages to get. Mr. Cameron, what are your thoughts on AUT's combat?
Dog shit. They need to add more PvE content because it's a PvE based game. I don't think the PvP is very good.
As it stands, currently AUT is just cooked. The PvP is really unbalanced, the grinding is absolute dog shit, and apart from those two, there's really not much else to do. Like, unfortunately, you just grind, you get a good trait, and you PvP. That's the gameplay loop of this game. There's really nothing else to do, and I kinda do agree with Cameron. Yeah, they need to add more PvE content. PvP in of itself can be a good game sustainer, but it's just so boring, especially when your game is just unbalanced as hell. Anyways, that'll be all for this video. If you guys enjoyed my, yap session, I guess. But apart from that, that'll be it for today's video. If you guys like, make sure to like, subscribe. If you didn't, then don't. I will see you guys next time.